Alright, listen up. You've ever heard about a computer that's powerful, tiny, and doesn't ask you to remortgage your house? Yeah, I'm talking about the new M4 Mac Mini. Now, I know what you're thinking. RJ, with all of these fancy MacBooks and iMacs out there, why should I care about a new Mac Mini? Well, stick around, because the base model of the Mac Mini is packing some serious heat. And it might just be the best deal that Apple's dropped in quite a while.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall.
If you're after the perfect blend of portability, power, and price, the Mac Mini might just be the sleeper hit you didn't see coming. But are the fancy upgrades worth it, or is the base model where the magic is at? Spoiler alert, you might want to hold on to that extra cash. Let's dive in. First up, the size. Apple's kept the design compact and minimal just like the previous Mac Minis, but they've somehow managed to make it even sleeker. We're talking about a machine that's 5 inches by 5 inches and just 2 inches tall. That is seriously tiny. But don't let that fool you. Apple's calling it their smallest Mac, but it might just be one of their most versatile as well. Think about it, if you're in a small workspace, a dorm, or you just want to keep your desk looking clean without a bulky tower, this thing fits anywhere. You can put it under a monitor, on a shelf, or even toss it in a bag if you want a powerful desktop on the go. It is compact, but Apple has also packed it with some serious power, which we're going to break down right now. Alright, now let's talk about power. Inside this little machine is Apple's brand new M4 chip. And this is where things get interesting. The M4 packs a 10-core CPU and a 10-core GPU, all designed to handle everything from basic tasks to high-performance workflows. Now, a 10-core CPU on a desktop is already impressive, but the fact that this is all on a machine that starts at $599, Apple is basically daring you to buy it. Now, if you're a creative pro, you know that having a beefy CPU and a GPU combo like this in such a compact machine is absolutely wild. This means 4K editing, graphic design, music production, and yes, even some light gaming are all possible on the base model. This isn't your average entry-level desktop. Apple's designed it to handle real work, and at this price point, it's pretty hard to beat. But there's always a catch, right? The base model starts with 16GB of unified memory and a 256GB SSD. Now, you might be thinking, should I upgrade to 24GB or even 32GB of RAM? Or even bump up that storage. Now, this is where you need to be careful. Apple upgrades add up fast, and I mean fast. Adding just a bit more RAM, boom, that's $200. Jumping up to 1TB of storage, another $400. And just like that, you're inching closer to MacBook Pro prices. So here's my advice. If you're getting this Mac Mini, stick with the base model. For most people, 16GB of unified memory is plenty. This isn't like the old days where you had to max out your RAM to avoid lag. Apple's unified memory is optimized to work across both CPU and GPU, so it's surprisingly efficient. You're going to get smooth performance in everyday tasks, plus solid multitasking for most creative work. So for day-to-day use, whether you're a student, a professional, or you just need a solid home office setup, this thing's got you covered. And if you need extra storage, look, don't throw money at Apple's SSD upgrades. Just grab an external SSD. I'll link some of the ones that I'm using on a daily basis down below. You'll get way more bang for your buck, and you can plug it in without any hassle thanks to all of these ports. And speaking of ports, let's give Apple some props here. They've loaded this thing up with connectivity. You've got 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, HDMI, Ethernet, and on the front you got 2 USB-C ports and a headphone jack. For such a small device, that's a serious lineup. This means you can connect multiple monitors, plug in an external drive, or basically have all your accessories without having to play dongle roulette. Honestly, this is one of the most flexible setups you could ask for. Whether you're a creative needing a dual monitor rig, someone who's big on storage, or you've just got a bunch of gadgets you need to plug in, this thing is ready. No adapters, no nonsense. And yeah, in 2024, that's something worth celebrating. Here's where the M4 Mac Mini really stands out. It's powerful enough for people who work in creative fields, video editors, photographers, designers, but it's also friendly for beginners or people switching from Windows. At $599, you're getting a Mac that can handle most of what pros use without paying pro prices. Most of you won't be pushing this machine to the absolute limits, and if you are, then it's worth considering the higher end models like a MacBook Pro or even the Mac Studio, which are more suited for power users. And hey, if you want to see my full hands-on review when this thing actually lands on my desk, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss it. I'll be putting it through its paces to see just how far you can push the base model, and trust me, I got some cool tests lined up. So what's the bottom line here? For real-world use, the base M4 Mac Mini is more than capable. If you're a student who wants a smooth multitasking setup, a creative doing light to moderate work, or even someone setting up a home office, this machine will handle it all. It's fast, it's reliable, and with that M4 chip, you're getting performance that's honestly kind of crazy for this price. Think about it. This thing's gonna last you for years. You're getting macOS, the same ecosystem as Apple's more expensive models, but in a package that's affordable and doesn't require you to compromise on power. Sure, you might not be getting the fanciest upgrades, but for most people they're not necessary, so save your cash. Alright, let's wrap this up. If you're looking to get a new Mac and you don't want to drop a ton of cash, the base M4 Mac Mini is about to be the perfect option. It's small, it's powerful, and it's got all the ports you need to make it a central hub in your setup. Just remember, stick with the base model. Keep it simple. You'll save money and you'll still get a machine that's honestly a steal for what it offers. Alright, that's it for this one. If this rundown helped you decide or got you excited for the launch, hit that like button. And don't forget, subscribe so you are the first to check out my review. If you made it to the end of this video, drop a dolphin emoji down in the comments below so I know exactly who my true supporters are. As always, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to flex with all of these ports in your Mac Mini tech.